So we have looked at education policy, social welfare policy, health policy, and now we discuss the gender policy. So why do we need a gender policy? Women are, of course, part of health and education policies and social welfare policy. All the other policies take care of every group, including the women. There is no exclusion in those policies on the basis of gender. And of course, if we try to make policies for every single group, it would be much difficult. It is much easier to have a comprehensive one policy for all the different groups. So why do we need a gender policy? We have seen over the years that development programs and projects have not benefited both genders equally. So they have sometimes, or most of the times, they have benefited the male section of society more than the female section. So look at the education. So education has, government has tried to provide education to everyone, right? So it has not discriminated against women in providing schools. But if you look at the quality or the quantity, in both terms, women are much or far behind as compared to men in Pakistan in terms of education or literacy. So in Balochistan, for example, there's a 20% of gender gap, as we have seen previously in the education, while discussing education policy. So similarly is the case of health, that in case of health, women have specific problems, which, for example, pregnancy, which men don't have. So if you have a health policy which takes care of other things, including pregnancy, and not talks about it, these issues or childbearing or child issues, so it will create more problems. So these are the things why we need a gender policy, specifically gender policy. Then, of course, gender policy, not having a gender policy means that most of the decisions are made by men. Most of the policy making in Pakistan or policy maker in Pakistan are men. So there are few female MNAs, MPAs or senators or bureaucrats, and even fewer female generals and experts. So all these people who are making policies are male, and of course they forget, or they are not conscious, or they don't know what problems women face. Sometimes development actually hurts women if you don't focus or take care of the problems which women face. For example, if more money is given to men, it means that the patriarchal circles systems are strengthened. So that's why, for example, in BISP, it's the women who are giving the money, not the men. Then, of course, there is the issue of if you list, for example, formal organizations and don't list informal organizations, and because women are part of mostly informal economy or part of the informal organizations, they suffer. Similarly, development means more schools, more BHUs, more Darul Ulumans, more. But these things, if you don't consider women issues, gender issues, these will lead to problems. For example, we have heard about sexual abuse at schools, at basic health units, and at Darul Ulumans. So development can lead to problems if you don't have gender policy, a separate gender policy. And of course, these problems, when these problems are realized, previously there was one policy, nobody was concerned about women separately, and even only after recognition of all these issues, we have separate gender policies. Thank you.